Welcome to All Over the Stands, where we dive into the stadiums, the grounds from around the world, from the UK to Scotland to the United States, and sports such as football, soccer, baseball, American football, rugby, and beyond. From small town terraces to massive stadiums, global icons. The fans fill it. We're going to cover it, and we're going to get into this game, the Scottish Premiership stadiums for the 2025-2026 season on GeoGuessr. It's a map. We're going to uncover a little bit about the Scottish Premiership as an American. I'm familiar with Celtic. I'm familiar with Rangers, Dundee, a couple other clubs because of Americans that have played, but want to get in to learn a little bit more about the stadiums and the teams for the upcoming season. I'm going to give a prediction on who's going to win it and who's going to get relegated. But we're going to get into this one. We're going to do a GeoGuessr game. No time limit moving challenge, the play along link. For those of you that want to play along, it'll be in the description below. And if you're from Scotland and you're a fan of any of these clubs, or any club for that matter in Scotland, let us know in the comments down below where you're checking in from and who you support, and off we go. So, Scottish Premiership stadiums. And we're looking at two grounds here, which is pretty interesting. So here's one here. This will be a little challenging for me because, well, we're near the water, so that could help. The sun is setting to the southwest west, so it's probably the winter. And we've got Dundee United Football Club is what I'm going to guess this is. Is it the John McClane? I'm not really sure what that is, but that's what I believe we're looking at. Dundee United, which the River Tay, is that the River Tay there looking south? So I feel like we're the George Orwell pub. How about that? But Dundee United, which it's interesting because I've done these games and predictions. I will say this, and hopefully I don't make anybody angry or upset. But Dundee United have going down, getting relegated. So yeah, that's how we start this game. That's how we started the League One games. But matches start this weekend, folks. So anybody headed out to a game this weekend, let us know. All right, so I guess that's Dundee. A lot of football pitches, which is pretty cool. There's another ground right there. We got 2 bridges. So there's 2 bridges. So we're over here. Baxter Park. All right, Tynecastle Park. I'm probably mispronouncing it, but I think we're right over here somewhere. A little off, but that's okay. Tip top, but Tynecastle Park. So let's look up this one. This is Dundee United. Tynecastle Park, officially known as the Calforth Construction Arena. It's been the home ground for Dundee United for quite some time. The capacity is 14,223. It is grass, and it's gone through a lot of renovations over the years. First opened in I guess it looks like 1891, I guess. No, renovated in 1891. Used for football since the 1870s. How about that? So let's take a quick look at the stand. Dundee United. I believe this is where John Hark's son played. I forget his name. I think he played with DC United. I think he played with Dundee United, but I could be wrong. If anybody knows, let us know in the comments down below. But a pretty cool stand, this one. Pretty cool ground, actually. The football ground. Dundee United and Dundee FC. Okay, I didn't know that. Now I know. So, could this be considered 2? Because we're looking at Dundee United, and I think we were right over Dundee. See, I'm an American, so I'm learning more about Scottish football. I don't know enough about Scottish football, and this is why I'm doing this. Okay, so this is interesting. So I got this one wrong, I guess, but we'll look at both. Maybe we'll get both in the game, hopefully not, actually. But this is a pretty cool stand, pretty cool ground. So we're going to go back, and we're going to look at Dens Park, because I think that's what we're Yeah, we were right over Dens Park. Man, what a football ground that is. That is a beautiful looking football ground. And the reason why I say this is Americans because you've got the old school stands, the floodlights that, like right in the corners. Look at this, the stairs right up here, the steps up this hill, and they got right in the neighborhood, in the confines of Dundee. So a pretty cool ground. I really like this one. So the capacity is 11,775, and the rivals are just 200 yards away. Wow, this is pretty crazy. Grass pitch broke ground and opened in 1899. The ground first hosted its first Scotland women's match in 2023 against Northern Ireland. And let's just take a quick look. Yeah, so this is how close it is. That's pretty cool. The Bob Shankly stand. Wow. They had a Greyhound racing track around this. Patrick. I remember these shoes back in... Whatever happened to, like... My thing is this, and then the other one's Umbro. So it kind of, like, disappeared off of radar. So there we are. Dens Park. Wow. Dundee. 2 for 1, I guess, in the first round. The Richard Donald stand. No parking on the concourse. And we got the home, I believe, the Dons Aberdeen Football Club. Sir Alex Ferguson, I believe, coached here, so I do know this. I think this is the furthest north. Look at that. How about that? A golf course right across the street. Imagine being a footballer here, and you've got a golf... I think it's a golf course. The Links, right across the street. I mean, this is pretty amazing, right? You... Kings Link Golf Course. You leave the dressing room and you walk right across after training. But maybe they don't train here. Maybe this is just where they play. But look at that stand. Wow, how about that? The Richard Donald stand, Aberdeen. I think, like I said, is the furthest north Premiership stadium. I'd like to visit Aberdeen. This is pretty cool. So we're right on the coast here. Queens Links. We're not at the Queens Links. We are at the... There it is. Pittodrie Stadium. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. So we're right about there. A little off. You've got to be really accurate on this one. But Aberdeen Football Club at Pittodrie Stadium. The all-seater. It was broke ground in 1899. Opened the 2nd of September 1899. And the stand that we just saw, the Richard Donald stand, opened in 1993 at a cost of £4.5 million. The capacity is 20,866. Formed in 1881. Anything else interesting about the ground? If you have anything interesting about these grounds, let us know. Aberdeen, yeah, they'll stay up, but has hosted Scotland numerous times. The last being in 2017 against the Netherlands, the Faroe Islands, and it's an interesting logo for Ireland there, or flag, I should say. But and hosted Rugby Union. So this thing has hosted quite a bit. I wonder if it's hosted any concerts. Yeah, look at that ground. Scotland's got some beautiful old school football grounds. Soul, spirit, and tradition. That's exactly right. 1993, the new stand. So the new stand didn't exist, I guess, here. This is the new stand. Didn't exist when Alex Ferguson was here, I would imagine. And look at that. The stone, the south stand, snow. I wonder how many times it snows in the Scottish Premiership. I wonder... I gotta think that it happens pretty often. So, all right. On to the third round. I want to take a guess at this and say, hey, I know what this is, because I've seen this logo before. I think it could be hearts, but I probably not. Probably got that one wrong. Again, I'm a novice. There's some snow or maybe frost or something. Oof. So what do we guess? Look at the floodlights right on the corners, but kind of built within the stadium. I probably got this one wrong. I would say like Hearts of Midlothian or something like that, but I could be wrong. Mercedes-Benz of Edinburgh. We got the lights to make sure that grass keeps on growing. And we got another, is that Hampden? No, Murray. Oh, Murrayfield. Wow. Look at that. It's interesting how close stadiums are built together. near one another in Scotland. Look at that, snow in the hills. It's funny that I mentioned about snow in the next round. You get this. It's weird, right? So Edinburgh, Hearts, I think. I don't know. I'll find out. There's Murrayfield. Scottish Gas. Murrayfield Ice Arena. How about that? I wonder if this is right. Murrayfield to the north. All right, so yeah, we're not that far away though from Murrayfield, so there's like other stuff around it, so maybe we're over here. A lot of parks in Edinburgh, but I don't know why I'm struggling with this one. Gotta be close by. Edinburgh Zoo. Family. The Tree of Life. Yeah, Tynecastle Park. The Hearts of Midlothian is, I guess, the right one here. Hearts. Where's Hearts? Over here. There it is. That's that logo. 1874. The Jam Tarts. Tynecastle Park. So pretty cool. Not that far away from Murrayfield. Capacity 19,852. They've played on the site since 1886. So Scottish Premiership's pretty old. I mean, this is like, I know England's old, but this is one of the oldest leagues in the world, I guess, or stadiums. Ann Budge is the owner. Opened in 10th of April, 1886. Renovated last in 2017. And anybody play here outside of Hearts? Women's national team. It hosted the FIFA U16 World Championships in 1989. Last international friendly was in 2003 against New Zealand, 1-1 draw. So let's take a quick look at these pictures here. Almost looks like it's snowing there, doesn't it? A little bit. Man, look at that stand. That's demolished, no longer exists. But yeah, what a beautiful stadium. They've really done well at the update here at Tynecastle Park. By the way, before I move on, please, if you're new to the channel, hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps. And comment down below. Just share with me. Just say hi. I mean, I know a lot of you are watching right now. Just type in, say hi. I'm from Edinburgh. Hi, I'm from John O'Groats. Hey, I'm from Norway. Wherever. I'd love to know where you're from, checking in from. Interesting looking homes over here. Almost looks like it's, I wouldn't say Scotland, but maybe it looks southern, like, I don't know. But anyway. Interesting looking ground. This looks like fake grass to me. Artificial surface. Kilmarnock Football Club, Kilmarnock, 1869. I'm sure this ground's been there since then. Man, look at these lights. The floodlights are pretty cool. Like right on the roof there, Kilmarnock. So Kilmarnock, maybe this is like the furthest south team, because I think like a lot of the teams, they're all in this area. So maybe we hit the furthest south team. I don't know. But I do know Aberdeen's furthest north in the Premiership. So where do we wind up here? And what is the name of the ground? The Evolution Gym. That's not where we are. All right, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we just look at, like, again, the directions on these photos here sometimes aren't always accurate. So Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. The Moffat stand. The BBSP. Alright, we're going to learn about Kilmarnock's ground. Rugby Park. The BBSP Stadium. That's an interesting sponsorship. Not sure what BBSP is, but I would say a little bit of a mouthful saying that. Capacity is 15,003. There's 3 people. Record attendance was 35,995 against Rangers in 1962. It's an artificial field turf. Opened in 1899. Last renovated in 1995. So another stadium's been around for a long time. It's also hosted rugby matches between Scotland and Georgia in 2016. The Frank Beattie stand, and let's take a look at Rugby Park. I'm sure it probably can get a lot of use. Well, there's grass, but we're no longer grass. It is turf, so it probably could get a lot of use out of it, but probably necessary with the Scottish winters, I'm sure. 1869, that's just amazing to me. Yeah, when I look at this picture, I see, ooh, I didn't want to do that. Just first and foremost, those floodlights are pretty cool. And 2, it just reminds me of just a proper British-like style football ground. Man, pretty cool, this one. There we are. So, Rugby Park, Kilmarnock, Scotland. And we get off to the 5th and final round. Before we do, well, this kind of leads into it. My predictions. Livingston. Is that how you pronounce it? Livingstone? Go back here. Let's go back one. Livingstone. Livingstone, I think, is in Zambia, in Africa. Livingston is going to be relegated with Dundee United. That's just what... Or did I say Dundee FC? One of the Dundee clubs are going to go down. You see, this is... I'm going to... Listen, here's the other thing. We get these matches on Paramount Plus, I believe. CBS, Sports Network. Kind of the same. Paramount Plus owns CBS. And we're able to get a lot of these matches. And I will be following this. My tendency, I'll be honest, is to lean towards Celtic to win the Premiership for this year. I think they're primed to win, and Rangers will be there as well. Obviously, it just seems like this league is Celtic or Rangers, but I'm going to go with Celtic. From a supporter standpoint, love to know. I mean, maybe I support Aberdeen this year. Maybe Aberdeen can make a run. Love to know who you would want me to support. My natural inclination is probably going to be this club here, just because of my ancestry and all that. But anyway, up to you. Would love to know who I should follow this year. So let me know in the comments down below. Who should I follow in the Scottish Premiership? And I'll try to do some updates and mention it throughout the year as I do these games. Maybe one of these days get to visit some of these grounds in Scotland. That's the goal. Celtic Park is, I think, the ground here. Man, you sit in these stands. I didn't realize, you sit here, right? It's a pretty raucous crowd, I know that, but man, the view up top. This ground, for whatever reason, maybe people think I'm a complete moron because I'm an American, but when it comes to this, man, this guy's really enjoying the views, as would I. Not sure what that guy's doing, but it kind of reminds me in a way, again, of St. James's Park in Newcastle, but maybe it's just me being somebody's not familiar. So the rivals at Ibrox are Rangers. I know that. I'd love to see. That's the one I'd like to see. So that brings up another thing. The Old Firm, I guess, the derby between Celtic and Rangers. That is one I want to attend at some point. That is on my bucket list of matches to see, just like Boca Juniors and River Plate. I've got to see that at some point in my life. So that will be definitely on the list. Maybe I make a trip around that in the future. Where was Celtic Park? Was it on the north side? Got so many parks though. There's Hamden Park in Mount Florida. This is something, right? Parkhead, that's where it is. Never seen this somewhere. Parkhead. So, I think I've done them. Have I been on the outside of this? I think. So, what's the smaller stand? I think we're here. That's where we are. Perfect score on this one. So yeah, Scotland, Scottish Premiership. We had really 5 rounds, but 6 stadiums, which is pretty cool because at Dundee, 200 yards away. That's phenomenal. I love that. But the Scottish Premiership. Thanks for tuning in. A lot of great, fun games from GeoGuessr. Also check me out on X, posting some stuff over there, and maybe my travels to different grounds soon. So in the United States, for that matter, baseball, soccer, as we say in the United States. But for this football stadiums game, till next time, cheers.